Hi friends, today we are going to discuss about the security. So let me discuss some of the important aspects which we need to understand before understanding the deep insights with respect to the security. So first of all, before understanding about the security, first understand why security is very important. What is the necessity? In today's world, you take any organization, it has to be operate, it has to perform its organizational day-to-day activities despite of having a lot of threats, maybe in terms of data threats or physical threats or any threats which comes through IT systems. To ensure an organization can operate irrespective of any of threats, we need the security. And people always feel that security is something, an IT job related task, but it is not an IT concern. In fact, it is a tool or entity which we'll use to manage our business activities, day to day activities. Normally people thinks and believes that security means it is a IT. In fact, information technology and information systems, how they want to be protected, how they want to be safely operated such that to enhance the business activity or to ensure that business operations happen successfully, we need the security. So, in fact, security ensures that IT and IS jobs to be happen in a reliable and in a safer way to meet the business goals. So ultimately, if you take any organization, they have some mission. They are kept for a particular cause and goal, and they have some objective. Any organization, they have some vision and goals and their objectives which they have on to ensure that their organization has to meet, to ensure that they are going to reach to their vision, goals and objectives. Definitely one should need the security. Now if someone want to implementing a security, there should be some foundation. See, but it is not only with respect to security, even in, if you want to start somewhere, you have to begin at somewhere. Means there should be some seed which today, which you will sow, tomorrow it will become a plant. So like that, similarly, to have, someone has to implement a security, they should start with having a security framework as a foundation, taking as the reference, then they can establish the security which is relevant to their organizational goals. And people also should understand the security requires continuous evaluation and stress testing. It is it is an ongoing process. Security is not something like, it is a continuously, it has to be dealt, and it has to be regularly being, should be evaluated to understand what is that the capability and the strength of our security. So there we need to understand risk assessment, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So now if you see the security evaluation methods, the risk assessment identifies assets, threats and vulnerabilities so that you can calculate the risk and guide security improvements. So first, if someone want to do risk assessment, means they should know about their assets, what are the threats impacting those assets, and what are the vulnerabilities which are there, such that he will understand the risk and have a guiding mechanism to improve. So coming to the next thing is vulnerability assessment. So vulnerability assessment is something like it is a process through which automated tools will be brought in to assess the security such that to know the known vulnerabilities, and such that we will have, once we know the known vulnerability, we can implement various adjustments in our security controls such that those vulnerability can be nullified. Of course, security, it is not something like nothing can be nullified, but it can be reduced. The next thing is penetration testing. So penetration testing is one of the important things which come to in place after the first two activities, first two evaluation methods has been completed. It is something like a realistic approach where someone trying to attack on your security system to understand how it is well implemented such that the undetected things also effectively addressed in your system. So it is something like we are trying to simulate attacks to uncover the issues which are missed in the previous evaluation methods. And also remember that the security also should be cost effective. Means, see, it is not like that all organizations will have the unlimited funding. Every organization will have the business constraints. As a security implementation, whenever we are trying to enforce security in an organization, it should be bound, it should be under the limits of their budget constraints of the organization. So organizations also should keep a portion of budget allocated to security, just like how we keep a budget to other business expenses like capital investment, so having a manpower. So just like all other costs, you should have a budget dedicatedly allocated for the security. You always ensure that selecting security control that offers the highest protection but at the same time having the lowest cost is the target. And whenever we want to ensure the security, you should not only implement the security, our security is legally defensible. Means we should adhere to the legal requirements and regulations. Sometimes legal regulations and requirements are which are enforced by the local bodies. So we should strictly adhere and follow these local legal actions which are mandated by certain local governments. At the same time, in case, see, security is not something like no one can promise 100% guarantee. All the managements or the organizations will try to give the best, but of course, if let's say some breach happen, how they will able to tackle that thing effectively happens when their security is legally protected. See, if you don't want to have a legal liability for certain decisions, you should have legally defensible security. And as I mentioned that you should adhere to the local laws such that you will protect against the fines and the penalties, or sometimes a negligence claims which people will try to target if some breach or something. So all, of course, no one want to have a breach in place, but of course it is unprecedented, something has happened. To protect the organization from hefty fines and penalties, your security should be always legally defensible. And the last and the final thing, security is an ongoing process. For any race there will be end, but the security, it is a never ending race. The threats are constantly evolving and the technology continuously changing. The user behavior is matter and the attacker tactics also changing day to day. So yesterday defense may not be enough for tomorrow threats. So this is right. See, sometimes people are trying to use normal authentication of password. Now they're coming from multi-factor authentication. It is not something like what we had seen yesterday. It still works today. The security is a continuously evaluation. It is day by day. It is a progress we need to have. And the final and the important thing is, it is a continuous reassessment. Every time you need to check whether I am up to date. If something is deviating to your goal and vision of the security, adaptations is very essential. Thank you. We will meet again.